if you'll be able to hear it, but we have a tin roof and it's currently raining. It hasn't rained in quite some time, so it's exciting, even though I'm always upset when it rains because it means I can't go outside. But I always remind myself that rain makes corn and corn makes whiskey. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I am doing my June wrap-up and July TBR, but it's kind of a sad one. This will probably be short because I am in a reading slump. Not only am I in a reading slump, oh no, I am also going through a quarter-life crisis because I just turned 22. I didn't get any books for my birthday, so I can't do a birthday book haul. Maybe that's why I'm having this crisis. I don't know. But I turned 22. And I'm a senior in college, and now I'm hitting that just craziness of what am I doing? So I'm in a slump. And the 2 books that I did manage to read are not fun books. I was in the middle of reading a fun book, and then I stopped because I was in my slump. And I was also going through my crisis. And I was like, I can't read a fun book. If I am going through this crisis, I need to read educational books. I need to read books that'll tell me what the heck I should do with my life. So that is where we are right now. So the first book I read in the month of June was The Money Answer book by Dave Ramsey. I feel like it's a little bit self-explanatory. I wanted to try and get my money in order, but I will say that while I did like the book and I thought a lot of points were great, I also felt like a lot of the points didn't quite apply to me yet, because a lot of them had to do when you had a steady, stable job. I don't have that right now. Or when you're married, or when you have kids. I'm nowhere near either of those things. So there were some good points that I did like and that I did enjoy, but for the most part it didn't feel like the right please help me figure out how to not be broke my entire life book for me at this time. But I think he does make some great points, so I might try and find one of his other finance books, see if that one would help me better. So that was the first book. And the second book I read was The Defining Decade. This is by Meg J. You've probably seen it a lot of places. I saw it, where did I see it first? I don't remember where I saw it first, but I actually, I want to say April, checked it out from my library in my college town, started it, but was like, no, I don't need this right now. Returned it, and then I saw someone else reading it in like May, and then I went through my crisis. I'm still going through my crisis. It's not a past thing. And I was like, maybe I should read it. So then I checked it out from my library here and read it. And I actually really enjoyed it. The author divides it up between work and love and brain and just makes a lot of good points, and it did make me feel better in some aspects because a lot of the people with the stories she was talking about were like, 25, 28, and I'm not that old yet. So that made me feel better that I'm freaking out so young in the sense. So maybe that can help me get along faster. I don't know. But if you don't know what this book is about, basically Meg J is saying how your 20s is like the decade that will define what you do and how you feel in your 30s and 40s and so on. And how she doesn't think it should be a throwaway time, and how most people are like, oh, this is my only time to be young, this is my only time to be free, and her argument is no, this is when you should be establishing your career, figuring out what you want to do, and then pursuing that actively. As a person who is very, work-oriented and driven towards reaching goals, I did like that her whole point was that you should be driven towards something. So that was nice. I just don't know what I'm driving towards right now, and that's my problem. I thought she did a really good job of explaining the love section, explaining the kinds of things you should be like looking for and questions you should ask each other. And overall, I felt better after reading the book. I felt a little more determined. I felt just a little bit of relief, and I think it was a fantastic read. I would recommend it to like anybody. If you are turning 20, go ahead and read it now. If you are 28, 29, go ahead and read it, because it just does such a good job of making you feel motivated and be like, yes, I can do this. If these people can do this, I can do this, and that kind of thing. And so it's a very inspirational book, but in a very straightforward, practical, down-to-earth way. Like, it's not one of those cliche, sappy self-help books in the slightest. It is very practical, and I think that's why it's so motivating, because you see these people doing well and she writes it in a way that doesn't feel like one of those cliche self-help books, and it just makes you motivated. Fantastic book. Highly recommended to anyone. If you are in college, read it. If you are 25, read it. If you are 29, read it. I mean, read it in your 30s. Make 30s your 20s, although that's what she argues against, so don't listen to what I just said. But read the book. I think it was great. And that's it. That's all. So I'm currently reading, this has been on my currently reading on my GOODREADS since last August. Yes. No. September. Last September. This has been on my currently reading since last September because I was supposed to read it for a class, realized I didn't have to read it to pass the class, and so I stopped reading it. It's downstairs. I'm not gonna go get it, but it's College to Career, and it's also one that I'd recommend. It's a little bit outdated now. She mentions blackberries, so that is something to consider, but most of the points are pretty timeless that she makes, and like with the resumes and with forming a LinkedIn and having professional email and that kind of thing are things that are still pertinent to today. So I'd still say that even though blackberries are mentioned, it's a very, you can read it now and still get a lot out of it kind of book. And so I'm enjoying it. I am kind of skim reading some parts because when I read it, my professor had us jump around in it, and so there'd be some chapters that I already read and some that I haven't read but just don't really apply to my situation now, and so I kind of like skim read those. I have a lot of book darts in it to mark things I want to go back to, so I do feel like I'm getting a whole lot of information from it, but I am doing some skimming for reasons of, and as I reread it I remember it, and so I just kind of skim read it really fast, or it just doesn't really apply to me yet, and so I kind of bookmark it for later but don't really read it in depth right now. But all in all, great book. I think I recommend it. As of right now, I recommend it. And the other book I'm currently reading is Morality for Beautiful Girls by Alexander McCall Smith. This is the third book in the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series. It's great. I don't know what happened. It's just that slump, I guess, but I was in the middle of it. I was reading it and I was enjoying it, but it was just going slow and I was in the mood and I was feeling very droopy. And so I stopped reading it. I started reading a bunch of self-help money books. A bunch. I still only read 2. That's the other sad thing. I haven't even read that many. It's good so far. I know I'm gonna like it. Alexander McCall Smith does a really good job writing just quaint books. This one I'm a little confused as to what on earth is happening. I just need to keep reading it and figure out, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I should reread like Percy Jackson or something and then just really clean my palette. Go back to my childhood. But that's it for this video. Comment down below and let me know how your reading month went. I sincerely hope it was a whole lot better than mine. If it wasn't, or if you're like me and you're doing basically everything under the sun instead of reading, comment down below what you're doing to distract yourself from reading. I am not working right now, which I think is part of the reason why I'm going a little bit crazy, but I'm selling quilts, and so I'm kind of making some money that way. I've been doing that. My brother helped me build a cabinet to hide my litter box in for my cat, for my apartment, so that's been a fun project. I've been doing a lot of planting, a lot of housework, that kind of thing, and I was so bored. Here's the sad thing. Are you ready for this? Here's the sad thing. I was so bored that I was going through my last 2 semesters in college, and I was looking and I realized that if I did a summer class, I would only have to do 12 hours each semester, and that just sounds so blissful. So I just started it like 2 days ago. I'm now doing a summer class because I was not even bored. I've been going hiking a lot. That's my, like, one of my favorite things. Do something outside, because you can stay away from people, but you get to be outside. It's the best. When state parks reopened, I was so happy. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Comment down below what you've been doing. I hope everything's going well. I hope you are staying safe and all of that jazz, and I hope you are not only staying safe, but keeping your head up. Can you hear the rain? Rain on a tin roof. One of the best things. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all again in another one soon.